Doesn't this look amazing? It's my taste test. Delicious. Welcome back to Cooking at Pam's Place. We are getting ready to make the most amazing pizza with our own homemade pizza dough. The pizza dough has no yeast, none, no rise time. So this is going to cook quick and it's going to be really easy. First thing you need to do is get your oven hot. Because we're not using any yeast, our rising agent is going to be baking powder, and you're going to need to get it in the oven quick and in a hot oven. I actually have my oven preheating at 480 degrees Fahrenheit. If your oven does not go that high, take it as high as you can get it, 450, 425, even if that's 350. Take it as high as your oven will go. But I am preheating my oven. It's been preheating for a while. You want to get that oven good and hot. So you don't want to preheat it. You don't want to make your pizza pie and then preheat your oven. Preheat it, let it sit, let it get hot. Before we get started, there are two ways you can do this. But if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me here in my kitchen today. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much. And for my channel members, thank you so much for your loyal, faithful support. Okay, two ways you can do this. If you have a food processor, you can get this pizza dough made in the food processor. If not, you can do it by hand. I'm going to grab my food processor, but I'm going to also walk you through how to do it by hand as I go along. Okay, I have here some bread flour. This is by far the best flour you could use for this pizza dough without yeast. However, if you don't have bread flour, you can use all-purpose flour. We're going to put about a cup and 2/3 into our food processor. If you are not using a food processor, take the same amount of flour and put it in a bowl. We're going to add all of our dry ingredients together, pulse it in the food processor. If you don't have a food processor, put all your dry ingredients in a bowl and whisk them together. You pretty much want to measure it, so I'm going to use a full 1 cup measuring cup and a 1/3 measuring cup for the 2/3. So go ahead and get this in there. And if you are using your food processor, you want to use your simple blade here. This is the blade that you want to put in there. So this is 1 cup going in. Now I'll use my 1/3 measure for 1/3 and 2/3. Now we're going to add in our baking powder. Do this to your bowl. If you're using a bowl, add your dry ingredients. This is 3 teaspoons of baking powder. We're adding a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of sugar. Now, this is not white sugar. I am using organic cane juice. So that's what that is. You can use sugar if you want. I have not tried this with honey. And if you want to add any other flavorings in there, this would be the time to do it. I am going to use some of my all-purpose seasoning because it's just going to give it just a nice little taste. About a teaspoonful will do of whatever other seasoning you may add in it. You want to add this into your dry ingredients as well. Now we're going to go ahead and pulse this 2 or 3 times just to make sure we incorporate all of our dry ingredients. Now we have 3/4 cup of water, and I also have 3 teaspoons of olive oil. We're going to go ahead and pour that in here and let it pulse on low for maybe about 45 seconds to a minute. If you are doing this by hand, make a well in the center of your bowl, pour your wet ingredients in, and using a wooden spoon or a regular silicone spatula, incorporate everything nice and gently. And pour our water in here. And you don't have to take the top off. You can pour it through the top. I always take my top off though. And the olive oil. Now we just want to pulse this until it forms into a nice ball of dough on low. Okay, so it's pretty well incorporated in here. As you can see, it all kind of gathered together into a dough. I'm gonna remove my food processor and I'll be right back. At this point, sprinkle just a little bit of flour on your surface that you're going to be working with. We are going to knead this until it gets into a nice soft ball completely. Just pull this out of here. You know, oh my goodness, it smells so amazing from those seasonings I added in here. Oh my goodness. So you just want to incorporate this little extra flour a little bit and just knead it, pull it. You want it to come into a nice soft dough. From here, we'll be rolling it out. Now, the pan that I am using is a 16-inch pie pan. You can use various sizes, just depends. If you have a smaller one, just don't roll your dough out as much. You want it to form into a nice ball on all sides. So stretch it out, pull it out so you can get that inside. See how that inside still looks crumbly? You want the whole thing to be smooth. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish kneading this and we'll be right back. Okay, once you're finished, it should be nice and smooth like that. It will not be as completely smooth as if you were using yeast, well, because we're not using yeast. So put a little bit more flour in there, and I poured way too much. So just scoot some of that to the side. Now you're going to need to roll this out a little aggressively because it's going to want to naturally bounce back. And you're gonna have to keep it going outwards. So just roll it in all directions. You can flip it over and roll it again that way. Just keep rolling it until you get it into the size that you want. Shouldn't take but a few minutes. But you wanna keep working because you wanna get this into the oven. At worst case scenario, about 20 minutes once you start. After you have your dough, you want to get it in the oven so that it can keep its rising activation going on. Thingamajigget. Yeah, you want it to still be able to rise. So I'm going to finish rolling this out and we'll be back. Before I go, as you can see, it's starting to stay. It's not bouncing back. It's starting to relax at this point. Okay, so this is the pizza tray that I'm using. If you can use one that has holes in it like this, that will be best because what that helps is the air circulation going in it to help crisp it up. Okay, so now we're going to put it on here. I'm just going to fold this in half. It has rested. I let it sit for maybe about 2 minutes after I finished, just so that it can relax a little bit. Let's put it on here. What you do not want to do is pinch your edges, trying to make a nice big fluffy crust on the edges of it. Don't do that. Let this dough rise up on itself. Don't pinch the edges, leave them alone. And I actually rolled this out pretty good because it's fitting the entire pan, which is a good thing. All the way over. Just put it, if it overlaps to the edges, that's fine. Also too, because we are cooking this at a very, very high heat, make sure you leave your cheese in the refrigerator until the very last second before you put it on there, because as it melts, it's going to turn brown a little bit faster than your normal pizza would because of the high heat in the oven. As far as toppings go, everything is fair game. Use any toppings that you want. I will go over mine, but right now you want to take some more olive oil or whatever kind of oil you have, and you want to take some and put it around the edges, making a nice rim. This is the part that you're going to leave uncovered, no toppings on it, and this will rise and form your crust. Putting this oil on it, because it's not a yeast dough, is going to help it brown some. And as you can probably see, my dough is not completely white. That's because of one, I'm using the bread flour, but two, because I added some of my seasoning, my all-purpose seasoning in here, and it smells amazing because of it as well. So just go around your edges just like this. Not too much, just a nice little border. Make a nice little border around here. Okay. Also too, when you're making pizzas, when it comes to the sauce, more is not always the best. Actually, less is better. So we just want to put some in here and swirl it around. Sometimes we think we need a ton of sauce all over the pizza. No, you don't. Take it to the border, but don't put it on the border. From here, add the toppings that you would like. Now I'm going to take a second here and I'm going to go and grab my cheese. Okay, now that we have our pizza dough all made, I actually had my cheese in the freezer after it was nice and shredded while I was actually making the dough. I like to layer mine on the bottom and the top. You can actually layer your pizza. I know some people like the cheese on the top. Some people like to put it on first. You can put your cheese on and your toppings however you would like to do it. Okay, again, more is not always best. I also have, then this is not pepperoni. This is actually some beef sausage that I cut thin. Again, use the toppings that you guys like. Want a pineapple pizza? Have at it. Make it your pizza from here. I am baking this in a 480-degree oven for about 10 minutes and we'll be back. Ooh, we are all done. Take a look, take a look. Oh my goodness. Ooh, this is hot, but I want you all to see it up close and I'm gonna bring you up even closer, but oh my goodness. Doesn't this look amazing? Oh my goodness. Ooh, and it smells so delicious. We're gonna have to do a taste test and I'm gonna bring you all up closer, but I want to say right quickly, if you don't have my all-purpose seasoning, go to shopcookingatpamsplace.com. This is amazing. If you could smell the flavors, you can put this on anything. No sugar added to it, and just a hint of salt, and I promise you, it is not salty, okay? Again, if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today here in my kitchen. I really do appreciate each and every one of you all. I hope this is cool enough for me to cut. If you are returning, thank you, and channel members, thank you. Oh my goodness, let me take it off of this. Should be cool enough I can sit it on my counter now. Ooh, I wish you guys could smell this. Oh my goodness. Ooh, delicious, delicious. And as most of you all know, I cannot bite on the front of my teeth. So I'm gonna cut me a little piece off so I can do a taste test. Yes. It's my taste test. Delicious. The sauce, the sausage, the peppers, the onions, the flavor of the dough. Wasn't that quick and easy? You guys can have pizza on the table in under 30 minutes. You know, I gotta go ahead and eat now. And I will see you all next time. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Bye-bye.